The Galactic Council had made many mistakes in its 30,000 years of existence, but none quite like underestimating humanity. Ambassador Zekthor of the Vryn Collective stood before the emergency session, his crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the dim lights of the chamber. He had called this meeting with unprecedented urgency, something that hadn't happened in over 2 millennia. Esteemed counselors, his translator device rendered his chittering into standard galactic. We face an extinction-level threat. The humans have declared total war. A wave of confused murmurs rippled through the assembled delegates. The Karathi representative, a floating mass of bioluminescent tentacles, pulsed with amusement. The humans? Those primitives who just achieved faster-than-light travel 40 cycles ago? Surely this is a jest. Zekthor's mandibles clicked in what his species used for a bitter laugh. 3 months ago, a Carvex raiding party attacked a human colony vessel. They took specimens for their genetic markets. Among them was a human child, a female offspring merely 6 solar cycles old. And? The Karathi's tone dripped with disdain. Unfortunate, certainly, but the Carvex have raided dozens of species. It's deplorable, but hardly. They have burned 17 Carvex worlds to ash, Zekthor interrupted, his voice carrying a tremor that silenced the chamber. In 3 months, the humans have reduced the Carvex Empire, an empire that has stood for 4,000 years, to scattered refugees. They didn't negotiate. They didn't demand reparations. They didn't even declare war through proper channels. He activated the holographic display. Images of devastation filled the chamber. Planets with molten surfaces, space stations torn apart, fleets reduced to expanding clouds of debris. The humans simply came, Zekthor continued. They arrived in every Carvex system simultaneously. They broadcasted a single message: return the child. When the Carvex laughed and refused, humanity showed them why you don't take their young. The Archon of the High Assembly, an ancient being of pure energy, spoke for the first time in decades. Show us their military capabilities. The display shifted. A human warship appeared, ugly, brutish, covered in armor plating that seemed excessive even by military standards. This is their standard destroyer class. They call it a protector. They have thousands of them. It's inefficient, a mechanical consensus unit observed. The power distribution is illogical. 70% of their reactor output goes to weapons systems. They've sacrificed speed, comfort, and efficiency for pure destructive capability. Exactly, Zekthor said, because humans don't build ships for exploration first. They build weapons that can travel through space. Every human vessel, even their colony ships, can be militarized within hours. Their mining ships carry enough firepower to level cities. Their medical frigates have armor that can withstand sustained plasma bombardment. The hologram shifted again, showing a battle. Human ships fought with a ferocity that made the Council recoil. They rammed enemy vessels when ammunition ran low. They detonated their own reactors to take out enemy flagships. One damaged human cruiser, its hull breached and crew dead, was piloted by its artificial intelligence directly into a Carvex space station. They don't retreat, Zekthor said quietly. We've studied 200 engagement recordings. Not once did a human vessel withdraw while enemy forces remained. They fight until they win or until their ship is destroyed. Often both. This is madness, the Karathi whispered. What species sacrifices so much for a single offspring? One that evolved as persistence hunters. A new voice entered the chamber. Admiral Chen of the Human United Fleet stood in the observer's gallery, uninvited but unchallenged. She was small by galactic standards, her frame compact and efficient, but her eyes held something the Council had rarely seen: absolute conviction. You're correct to be frightened, Chen said, her words sharp and clear. Because you're finally understanding what we are. On Earth, humans weren't the strongest or fastest. We couldn't fly or breathe underwater. We survived because we never stopped. We chased prey for days until they collapsed from exhaustion. We adapted to every environment. And most importantly, we protected our young with a ferocity that made predators think twice. She stepped forward. That child you call a specimen? Her name is Emma Rodriguez. She likes drawing pictures of stars. She wants to be a botanist, and she is terrified alone in a cage on some Carvex slaver ship. The Carvex have already been devastated, the Archon said. Surely that is sufficient. Chen's expression didn't change. We found Emma 3 days ago. She was malnourished, traumatized, but alive. The Carvex who held her are now ash, scattered across the cosmos. But here's what you need to understand. We didn't stop because we found her. We stopped because there are no more Carvex military assets left to destroy. The chamber fell silent. Humanity seeks entrance to the Galactic Council, Chen continued. We're not asking. We're informing you, and we come with one law that we will enforce. Any species that harms a human child will cease to exist. Not through sanctions, not through diplomacy, through total warfare. You would threaten this entire council? The Korathi demanded. No, Chen replied. We're offering protection, because if humans fight this hard for one of our own, imagine what we'll do for our allies. The Carvex took a child. That was their mistake, their last mistake. She placed a data chip on the podium. Our fleet compositions, technology assessments, and treaty proposals. You have 1 Earth week to review them. After that, we'll be opening diplomatic relations with individual species. We prefer to work within the Council's framework. But make no mistake, humanity doesn't need permission to exist, to expand, or to protect our own. As Admiral Chen left the chamber, Zekthor turned to face the Council. I recommend immediate acceptance of their terms. On what grounds? The mechanical consensus demanded. Zekthor's mandibles clicked slowly. Because in 3 months they destroyed an empire for taking 1 child. I don't want to discover what they'd do if we took a planet. The vote for humanity's admission to the Galactic Council was unanimous. It was the fastest decision in the Council's history. And across the galaxy, every species learned the same lesson. Humans could be reasoned with, traded with, even befriended. But their children were sacred. Touch one and humanity wouldn't just go to war. They'd go to extinction, yours, not theirs.